that you're not worthy? What if you think that you're not good enough? What if you think that you can't get that promotion at work or get to the job or get into the university or ask that person out to go out on a date? You become what you think about most of the time. So when it comes to this, and I don't even know if it's new, you see people even like Tony Robbins. He started out in the 80s, the 1980s.
Awekenge, this is Mental Mythos, hosted by Asekho. So how are you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I appreciate the invitation to do this. Been looking forward to it.
Pleasure's all mine, and I really interested in the conversation in terms of hypnotherapy and mindset in interlinking those things. And also, I once had a guest whereas we spoke about hypnotherapy, and whereas she had a different, I would say, practice in a way of working in a way of the inner child, seeing it as the inner child, as the inner child in a way. So I'm interested in how your perspective on it, your practice, how it
Sure.
is. So again,
yeah, I'll just follow your lead. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm game.
Thank you so much. And again, I just wanna I can't keep I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing on doing this. I really appreciate it. And also, thank you so much. So mindset coaching, in terms of something that is very different on my side, because I'm used to I'm in South Africa, here in National University, we have a success coach. Whereas I would say that it's in a way of helping you, guiding you in terms of reaching success. And mindset coach is quite different. It's a word that's new to me in a way. So can you explain the core principles behind mindset coaching?
Yeah, it's the idea that limiting beliefs, in that you have those thoughts circulating in your mind that you're not good enough, or that you can't do it, or that other people are better than you, or why even try? And these thoughts that kind of ruminate in your mind, that circulate in your mind, will prevent you from taking action and moving forward in your life, whether that's with your career, whether that's with athletics, if you're a musician or an actor, even just in the relationships in your life, maybe even to the point of asking somebody out, oh, well, they won't like me. They'll think I'm an idiot or a jerk. So you don't even make give the opportunity to even go talk to somebody else to create a friendship or even a romantic relationship. So in terms of like mindset coaching, it's kind of a fancy term that's come out in the last maybe decade or so. But really, it even goes back to a lot of the work that was being done by the Dale Carnegie back in the 50s. And he had this record that came out. Was it Dale Carnegie? But he had the record, the first million-selling record that, at least in the United States, that was The Strangest Secret. And The Strangest Secret ended up being that you become what you think about most of the time. And so the idea is, well, what if you think that you're not good enough? What if you think that you can't get that promotion at work or get to the job or get into the university or ask that person out to go out on a date? You become what you think about most of the time. So when it comes to this, and I don't even know if it's new, you see people even like Tony Robbins. He started out in the 80s, the 1980s. That big book of his that came out, Awaken the Giant Within, that really put him on the map, came out, I think, in the late 1980s, early 1990s. But Tony Robbins, he's been doing this work for 40 years. And so the idea is, in terms of mindset, if you become what you think about most of the time, what are you thinking about? And in the work I do around hypnotherapy, it's not so much the kind of entertainment side of things that you see maybe in comedy clubs or like in big showrooms like in Las Vegas or Macau or wherever one goes, where you're entertaining people and you hypnotize them to sing like Elvis Presley or dance like Michael Jackson or something. Therapeutic hypnosis works with that mindset, in that where did these ideas that you're not good enough come from? that you're not worthy, that you can't do something. Who told you that? Where does it come from? Why do you keep repeating this phrase in your mind over and over again? Because again, it's like what you do most, you get better at. What you practice over and over again, you get better at. We know this from practicing the piano or practicing the guitar or practicing martial arts or practicing a foreign language or practicing riding a bicycle or something. What you do, what you practice most, you get better at. And so what if you're practicing anxiety? What if you're practicing, telling yourself that you're not good enough? So in terms of the mindset coach, what this kind of new, and maybe it's not even new, but what this helps people do is release those limiting beliefs and start creating the beliefs that will create the confidence and the self-esteem and the self-worth to actually do what it is you want to do so you can create your best life ever. There's kind of the gray line between what is hypnotherapy, what is neuro-linguistic programming, what is psychotherapy, what is sports psychology? Because again, if let's look at sports real quick. If like say for swimming, Michael Phelps, the most medaled Olympian in history. He has something like 28 gold medals for swimming. If you're a swimmer and you're in competition and you're on that little diving platform ready to start the event, and you look over and Michael Phelps is next to you, ready to swim next to you, what's that going to do to your confidence? And maybe is that enough to like lower your confidence to, oh my God, Michael Phelps is in this race? Are you kidding me? Is that enough to lower your confidence in yourself that you're going to come in 5th place or 6th place? And so even in the work we do is like there's we call a lot of different things. I think mindset coach is just the newest trendy kind of word. But really what it's about is working with those thoughts in your head. And if they're negative to the point of being detrimental to your life in terms of moving forward, what's the point of working out? Nobody's going to love me anyway. So now you're not going to go to the gym. You're not going to go out. You're not going to get healthy. And so it's working with those thoughts that prevent us from creating our best life ever. I think that's kind of a long answer to maybe a short question. But
definitely. I feel like in a way there's a lot that you mentioned, and also practicing something makes you better at that. I agree with you in that, because in a perspective of, for instance, I'm making an example of myself. Being a podcast host for the last 4 years, I've been doing this for the 4 years. In terms of doing one thing. At some point, I was in the business training, whereas I mentioned that I am doing podcasts in terms of mental health. And someone asked the fact that what's the use of doing podcasts in terms of talking about a conversation, the one conversation in terms of mental health in 100 episodes. And in a way, it goes back to the mindset in terms of, as you've said, if you practice, let's say, if you have that mindset, no, mental health is not important, you just need to have that one conversation and move on, goes to that thing. As if you keep practicing on that, you'll never be being able to learn something in terms of that certain conversation. It's something that it was interesting. And my follow-up question is the fact that what is the difference between mindset coaching and traditional therapy? The reason why I'm asking this thing is the fact that, according to my knowledge, coaching focuses on the future, and therapy goes deep in terms of the past. So what is the initial difference? And the way that you were explaining it, in a way, I saw it as something that they both have the same goal in terms of you feel better in terms of mindset.
Yeah, that was a great way to explain it. And there is a lot of overlay. There's doing a lot of the same things, but I think you hit it right on the head, especially with therapeutic hypnosis. A lot of people who come to a hypnotherapist, they're looking for some relief from pain or hurt or trauma, or maybe even a bad habit. Like famously, hypnotherapy works great for smoking cessation, or if you want to quit smoking, or weight loss and things like that. But really, even those issues of overeating or smoking, those are self-soothing issues, trying to make yourself feel better by eating or by taking a cigarette or maybe a drink or whatever it is. And so you're trying to soothe yourself from some hurt or some pain. And so I think you nailed it on the head when you said hypnotherapy, it does work with a lot of the issues that we've encountered in the past. And whether that happened yesterday or last month or last year or 40 years ago, the subconscious mind will hold on to that hurt and pain because it doesn't want to experience it again. But you're the one who's holding on to it. So you're allowed to, deal with the emotions that come up in an appropriate way. And so when people are feeling that anxiety or that anger or that stress or that fear or that worry or that hurt or that pain or that tension, that pressure, whatever you want to call it, they get to a point where it's like, I just don't want to feel like this anymore. So whether they're going to a talk therapist or maybe a hypnotherapist, they want to deal with that past. And hypnotherapy works really well with the subconscious mind and in how the mind stores that information and that feeling state related to that past hurt and pain. And you're allowed to do something about it. You're the one who's holding on to the information. You're the one who's creating the hurt and pain. So you're the one who can do something about it. So that's just kind of a quick little sum up of hypnotherapy. And in terms of what you were saying about mind coaching, that's looking towards the future. I think that's a great way of looking at it because when, I think we both look at coaching in terms of athletics, you're always going to have a coach. You always want that second pair of eyes to help you perform better, to give you the advice on how to, depending on what the event is, to run that course in a more efficient way so you can win. You want that second pair of eyes. You want that advice from a knowledgeable person. So that person is going to stay with you. And so in terms of, some people have business coaches, so to help them with business or marketing, of course, athletics, maybe even musician. I mean, Pavarotti, considered one of the greatest opera singers of all time, went to a vocal coach every year. Because of course, as you get older, your voice is going to change. His weight fluctuated a lot. And so that's going to change how he sings as well. So every year he went to a vocal coach, even though he was considered the greatest cello player ever. Even famously, Neil Peart, the drummer from the rock band Rush, went to a drumming coach at the height of his fame and powers as a drummer, just to change up his drumming style. So we can all use coaching in different ways. And in terms of the past, if you want to deal with those limiting beliefs, the hurt and pain, the anxiety, the trauma, hypnotherapy may work really well for that in terms of creating your best life and how to move forward, whether, again, it's business or relationships or sports or music or whatever it is you're doing. Having a coach. And especially if those thoughts come up, maybe I'm not good enough to move forward like this. Coach is going to help you with that to move forward. And so I think you hit it right on the head that there's a lot of overlap. Certainly mind coaching can help with what's happened in the past. Certainly hypnotherapy can help focus your attention on the future and how to create that best life ever. But it's a great way of describing it, I think.
And through the conversation, I just want to go into this thing that you said in terms of part of your services are to help people on negative emotions and trauma, test anxiety, fears, and phobia. I just want to underline the test anxiety. The reason why I'm bringing that up, if you remember on my email, on my message on Parchment, I said that I included that I'm a student. So it's exam time, and definitely there are so many anxieties. And what is your process of you helping, let's say a student comes to you in terms of in a setting of it's either between mindset or hypnotherapy? What is your process towards that? How do you help people?
Let's work with you right now. And if somebody's listening to this and they want to follow along, they can. Of course, if you're driving a car, if you're supervising the kids around the swimming pool, maybe do this process later. But just working with you, you're talking about test anxiety, your student exams are coming up. Just closing your eyes real quick. And I want you to notice where you feel that anxiety. There's a place in your body where that feeling state originates, where you hold on to that anxiety, that stress, that overwhelm, that worry, that tension, that pressure. And I want you to literally take your hand. I don't want you to point to where you feel it in your body, because if you can point to it, you can reveal it. If you reveal it, you can heal it. And so I want you to point to where you feel that anxiety in your body. Literally take your hand and point So I understand where it is. Yeah, right there in the chest. 0 to 10. 0 being the most peaceful you've ever felt. 10 being the most anxious, panicked, afraid you've ever felt. Where would you rate this anxiety right now, 0 to 10?
I would probably 8.
An 8, okay. That anxiety, that 8 level anxiety you're feeling in your chest, there's a certain color to that anxiety. What color is it?
I'm thinking of orange, between orange and red.
Yeah, that's right. It's orange. Like an orange red. Here's what I want you to do. I literally want you to do this. I want you to reach in and pull out all that orange-red energy. I literally want you to reach in and pull it out and start pulling it out. And I know this seems silly. I know this seems ridiculous, but I want you